Hey guys, how you doing? So we have the Otofix D1 to review today. This is very similar to the D1 Lite. It's just got a few more features, and we're going to go over those. And it's got just a little less features than the D1 Pro or the D1 Max. So this is a scan tool that's made by Autel. Otofix is a sub-brand of Autel. Autel, if you don't know, is probably one of the leading aftermarket scan tool manufacturers in the country, actually in the world. But let's take a look at what you got here. So of course everything's in a case. I do have a nice VCI. Does have USB-C port for updates. Does have a light. And don't underestimate that. If you're underneath the dash when it's dark and you can't find the light or the DLC, it's nice to be able to use a little light to get it plugged in. It does come with a brick to charge it. It does come with a VoIP Ethernet to USB-C adapter and a USB-C charge cable. Let's take a look at the scanner. So the first thing you'll notice is how thin this scanner is. It's the thinnest scanner I've ever seen. So very, very cool feature. Before we get into it, let me just read off the specs. I'll kind of give you a quick look. Right here you've got a little door. It's got USB-C, two different USB-C ports, got a SD card socket, and of course your power button. It does not have a kickstand, which is actually disappointing. A kickstand is a very handy thing to have, but it does have an 8 megapixel camera on the back with a flash or a little LED. So again, this is a D1, which is made by Otofix. This is the same exact size and case and screen and everything that the D1 Lite has. And like I said, this is a sub-brand of Autel, so it's got Autel software on it. This runs Android 9, has an ARM core, quad-core 835 processor running at 1.5 gigahertz. 2 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of ROM, a 7-inch screen that's got a 1280 by 800 resolution, has a rear 8 megapixel camera, an internal 5800 milliamp battery, supports DOIP and CAN-FD, and it is FCA AutoAuth compatible, so you can connect this. You can register the tool on the AutoAuth website and then connect it to 2018 and newer Dodge, Fiat, and Chrysler vehicles and have full bidirectional controls. It does support ECU coding for Audi, Volkswagen, Skoda, as well as hidden features on those same brands. The D1 Lite does not support that. It has guided functions for Audi, Volkswagen, Skoda, and seat. The D1 Lite does not have that. It does have support for the endoscope, MV 105 and 108. The D1 Lite does not support the endoscope. It comes with a 1-year warranty. Now, the link that I put in the description, I think it's Otofix Direct. They offer a 2-year warranty, is what they advertise in their description. And it does come with 2-year free updates. So I'm going to show you real quick the scan tool, then we're going to get it connected up to the truck, and we'll see how it works. Of course, the diagnostic button is where you'd go to connect up to the VCI once you got it plugged into the truck or the vehicle. We'll go ahead and go into the service menu, and I'll show you the all the service resets or special functions. They advertise over 40 special functions, and it does honor that. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So the very first page here, I'm going to give you a chance to read it. That's 15 different resets. We'll go to page 2, another 15, so there's 30. Page 3, another 15, that's 45. Fourth page, we have 2, so that's a total of 47 quick access special functions or resets that you have access to. You also notice that this very last one is proxy alignment. That's for Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, and Jeep. If you're not familiar with that, if you want to change modules on a 2010 or newer Chrysler vehicle, Chrysler manufactured vehicle, depending on the module that you change, you have to do a proxy alignment so that that module can communicate with all the other modules properly. If you don't do that, sometimes you'll have your instrument cluster will be flashing, your radio may not work right. There's just no telling what kind of goofy stuff is going to happen until you do a proxy alignment. And that goes if you change the ABS module. There's a whole list of modules that you have to do a proxy alignment on. So it's good to see that this tool has proxy alignment. I'll go into the settings just real quick so you can see what to expect here. It does print to a Wi-Fi printer. I've got an Epson Wi-Fi printer. I printed out a report, and it detected my Wi-Fi Epson printer and printed perfectly. Vehicle list, battery. This does support the optional battery tester. Let me go into the about so that you can kind of read everything there. I'll do an overlay on the screen so that it come through nice and clear. Has about 18 gigabytes of available space. Has 64 gigs of total space. Of course, you got the apps and the everything on it. It's taking up space. So you got your data manager. I'll just click on all these so you can kind of take a look, see what's under each one of these buttons. The battery test, again, that's an optional tool that you can buy, connect up to it, and you can test your battery. VCI manager, that's how you're going to manage VCI. If this was connected to the truck right now, it would show connected right there. It's trying to hunt for it currently. Of course, updates, where you'd go to update the tool. Maxi viewer. That's what you got there. Go to the next page. Of course, you got your support, OEM authorization. Not 100% sure what that is. Have no idea. Don't know what. It does show the software expiration date up there. Remote desktop, Maxi tools. We'll go ahead and click that. Got a monitor, data logging, VCI setting, factory reset. Quick links, kind of a nice little page here. If you got a subscription to any of these services right here, AllData, Mitchell, you'll be able to quickly tap one of the icons there and get into it really quick. You got user feedback, you got Maxi video, and that's where you're going to hook the endoscope up, and that's where you'd go in. In fact, it's probably not going to do it now because it's not detecting it. That hooks up to the USB-C port. And then, of course, Auto User Center. The first page is just a blank, got a search button up at the top so you can search the entire tablet. And if you go to the main front page without the AutoFix app up, I'll show you that also. So, let's go ahead. Let me come over here, and we're going to go get this connected to my truck. And we're going to go through, do an auto scan, and show you how it works. All right, guys, so we're connected to the truck. If you look down at the very bottom, you see where it says VCI, and it's got a green BT. That means it is connected to the VCI, to the scan tool, so it should communicate, no problem. We're going to go ahead and just hit diagnostics. Should ID the vehicle, and it did. Hit OK to that. Hit yes. Does have the voltage in the upper right corner, as you can see, 15.1 volts. So you can kind of keep track of your voltage. If you don't have the truck running like I do because it's cold out, you can kind of keep track, make sure you're not going to run your battery down. And I'll just go ahead and go into hot functions. Vehicle profiles, what we already saw, where it shows the VIN and you know, that it's ID'd the vehicle. Hot functions is just a quick menu to get to a lot of the functions, so you don't have to dig around in the individual modules looking for stuff. Does have the light emitting diodes, headlights, and this has got 3 pages of what they call hot functions, where you can go in and quickly access functions to perform on this truck. So let's escape out of that. We're going to go ahead and hit diagnosis. The control unit is where you can individually pick from a list of modules that you want to go into. That way you don't have to wait for it to do a full scan. I'm going to go ahead and hit auto scan, and we're just going to let it do a full scan, and then we'll go from there. We're not going to go through each individual module like I do a lot of times. We'll do that if you want to see the full active test and special functions that this scan tool has on this truck, you'll need to leave a comment. I don't want this video to get any longer than it has to, but we will go into a couple of the important modules and take a look at the actuation test or the active test and the special functions. You can already tell that it does not have high-speed scan, which is a shame, because there's more and more scanners coming out in this price range that does have high-speed scan. And the high-speed scan is real nice, especially when you have a vehicle like this. It's got, I believe this truck has 21 modules. And without high-speed scan, you know, it takes a couple minutes to scan every single module and get through that. The high-speed scan, it takes like 15 seconds, and it's got them all scanned. So, you know, keep that in mind when you're looking for scan tools. Now, if you're just hooking a scan tool up to your vehicle occasionally, it's not really going to be that important. But if you're in an environment to where you are working on vehicles, you know, throughout the day or quite often, time is money. And you don't want to be sitting any longer than you have to waiting for a scan tool to scan all the modules. So, you know, for some people it may be important, for others it may not be that important. Almost done, fellas. Like a lot of other scan tools, you can see that it lists all the modules that has codes or has DTCs at the top. That way you don't have to scroll all the way through the list. So let's see, let's go into the body control module, because that's pretty important. When you just hit the little arrow to the right, and we'll just take a look at the actuation test or the active test and special functions real quick. Now, there's sub menus underneath some of these. So like if I go to exterior lighting, it's got all your lights on the outside of the vehicle. Go back, you go to wipers, you got your washer relay and your wiper motor. So you can run, that's bidirectional ability that you have on these items. Special functions. Give you a second to read those. We'll back out of that and we will go into the, we'll just do the engine control module. We'll look at the graphing. We'll look at the active test, the special functions, and some graphing, and then we'll call this video done. We'll go ahead and do the active test. We got a couple pages here. Go back, we'll go into special functions. Go back, we're going to go into live data. Now GM makes categories or submenus. I don't know really what to call it, but they put their live data on the engine control module. They have it grouped into what type of engine data you're wanting to see, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Okay, so you got a couple pages here, and what this is, for instance, if you're wanting to look at O2 related, you know, if you're wanting to monitor your O2 sensors, you're going to hit the heated oxygen sensor tab, and it's going to list anything O2 related that you may want to look at. So we're just going to go ahead and pull that data list up. Hopefully that made sense. I don't know how to explain it any better. But this is any data PIDs that should be related to O2 diagnosing. Now, I'm just going to pick like these first four right here, and I'm going to go show selected. Now, if you want to look at the graphs, the down arrow, you're going to click, I didn't mean to do that. You're going to click that little down arrow, you're going to click the graph button. Do the same thing there. We'll do all four. And you kind of scroll. And you can take a look at the graphs. All right, and if you want to look at any one of these full screen, you just hit the little icon right over there and it'll put it up full screen for you. So let's go ahead and get out of this. I'm going to hit the little X button there. And we're going to go ahead and, If you wanted to merge the graph, you hit the merge and it overlays it, and you can sit there and watch an overlay. Of course, you got your list mode right there. Works pretty good. Clear data, freeze. So let me pull one of these back up. If you was watching a graph and you wanted to freeze it, you freeze it, and you can sit there and study it if you need to, and then you resume it. Of course, you can record, and then you can come back at a later time and review it. And you see the little tab at the top. If you pull that down, it gives you your little menu right there that's most of the time is always there. Let's go back. And, you know, again, like if you wanted fuel trim, you'd hit fuel trim and it'd list any kind of PIDs that is fuel trim related. Anyway, that's probably about all I want to do. I don't want this video to get any longer than necessary. Autel makes solid stuff. If you're looking for a scan tool, I've got quite a few videos on reviewing scan tools. Everything from the Think Car, the King Bolin, the Launch, Top Don, and now Otofix. So, you know, take a look at them and figure out which one works for you. And I hope these videos help. Anyway, we're done. You guys take care. We'll see you.